Okay. Well, that's fine. You can see me. That's going to confuse you guys. All right. Entonces. So we have one more chart to go over, which is 1C. And we're going to go over that today. So grab that out. Just a heads up. Now, the breakout box did take a day longer than I planned. So I did bump this a day. But your vocab quiz is going to be on Friday. It's over 1A through C. Okay? But today we're only adding in 4 words, right? So that's really not that much. So just keep that in mind. And remember, the format of my vocab quizzes is I give you the English, you give me the Spanish. There's no word bank. So make sure you study appropriately, right? And then remember, it's the highlighted words from the vocab sheet. So basically whatever was there before you wrote on it. See?
So do we need to know all the conjugations of the words?
Nope. If it's, you need to know the highlighted form. Kaden. You get a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah. So sometimes it kind of depends on how far off you are. Like if you're obviously reaching and like you kind of remembered it, but you really didn't, then it's probably all wrong. But if it's like 2 letters, it's usually okay. Bueno. All right. Entonces, I'm trying to figure out, is that too far away for you guys to see, or is that okay? Okay, I want them to be able to see it in the video too, so we'll have to mess with that. Okay, so 1C. The first one is he came. Todos repiten vino.
Vino.
Bueno. Now, when we look at that, well, first off, does anybody know what to come is?
Vinar.
No? So that's a good guess though, because this is an irregular. Bueno. And so it comes from venir. Venir. Okay, so that's to come, as in like you come to school. Bueno. Now we want to take it to the present tense. In the present tense, venir, the conjugations almost look exactly like the verb tener. Bueno, almost exactly, minus the letter at the front. Bueno, so for a second, you don't have to write this down. But remind me, what does tener look like in the present tense? What's I have?
Tango.
You have?
Tienes.
He or she has?
Tiene.
We have?
Tenemos.
And they have?
Tienen.
Tienen. Good. Okay, so if we know venir almost looks the exact same as tener, how would you say he or she comes?
Vengo.
He or she?
Viene.
Viene. Okay, viene. Now I want you to flip your paper over. And we do have 8 charts today. So if you need to grab an extra piece of notebook paper, just get up and go grab it. We know at some point whenever you need it. If you need it now, that's fine. But yeah, just go grab it at some point. All right, so new T chart, and this is going to be for venir in the present tense. So with your partner, I want you to fill this chart out, keeping in mind that it looks almost the same as the verb tener. So fill that chart out.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then vienen.
Okay, entonces, clase, how would you say I come? I come to school?
Vengo.
Vengo. How about tú?
Vienes.
Vienes, good. He or she?
Vienen.
Good. How about we?
Venimos.
Which one is it, do you think? Venimos or venimos? Venimos, because remember it's in the present tense, and in the present tense we do have to pay attention to, is this an AR, ER, or IR, because they all have a different nosotros ending. And how about they have, or they come, sorry? Vienen. So again, almost the exact same, minus the starter letter and this guy right here. But if you can remember, venir looks a lot like tener, then it's not too hard of a conjugation in the present tense. Questions on the present tense conjugation? Okay, then that takes us over to the preterite tense, which we're seeing vino. Otra vez repiten vino.
Vino.
Means he or she came. Okay, past tense here. Again, we're using the preterite tense specifically. Now, this is the third irregular verb you are now seeing in the preterite tense. Okay, so far we've seen fui, fuiste, fue, fuimos, fueron. And then on the 1B chart, we saw dije, right? Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijeron. So this is the third one. So vino, right here. First off, this is an irregular preterite, so we know, is this chart going to get any accents? No, because irregular preterites do not get accents. Okay, commit that to your brain because those are half points on quizzes. Bueno? So don't add in the accent because it's an irregular preterite. All right, now, when it comes to irregulars, there's no official endings chart. Okay, but we do see some patterns throughout it. So if you can think back to irregulars that you've already learned, that can sometimes help you fill out the chart from there. Okay, so I want you to think about the verb decir in the preterite tense. Okay, that was the dich stem. So in this one, vin is going to be our irregular stem. So we're going to see that throughout the chart. Okay, the irregular stems throughout the entire time. So we're going to have vin. Think about, sorry, I'm going to flip you back to the verb decir now, which meant to say. How did you say I said? Dije. So we could use that pattern to think about how would you say I came? Vine. How would you say you came? Viniste. Again, we need to keep that irregular stem. And then we're going to use the pattern from dich. Good. He or she, yep, was what? Vino. Which, side note, this can also mean wine. But I'm assuming context will tell you whether it's wine or he went. Bueno. And not like whining, but like wine that you like drink. Bueno, that kind of wine. How about we? Vinimos.
Vinieron.
And then this one is vinieron. Okay? And again, that's why we say it's a pattern, right? Not really a technical chart. There is a reason that we don't see the I in the decir chart, because they said is dijeron. This is what we technically call a J stem irregular verb, okay? And those J stems, the J replaces the I, because otherwise it'd be hard to say. Bueno? So that's why we're not seeing it in that decir one, but bueno. So todos repiten, vine, viniste, vino, vinimos, vinieron. Bueno, and then remember, again, there are no accents because that's an irregular preterite, and that vin is our irregular stem. We're going to see that throughout the charts. Any question on that one? No. Bueno. All right, let's go to the next one. He or she saw. Repiten, vio. What verb does that come from, class A? What's to see? Ver. Okay, ver is to see. I want you to flip your paper over. And we're going to do a ver in the present tense, which you learned this chart last year. So I want you to fill it out with your partner. How do you say I see, you see, so on and so forth. All right, what's I see? What was it? What did I raise? Veo. Now I heard voy, but what does voy mean? I go. Okay, and that's typically the chart that we confuse with ver. Okay, ver and ir, their conjugations are different, but we do tend to confuse them. So veo is I see. What's you see? Ves. He or she sees. We see. And they see. Good. All right, so other than this yo form, it's a completely regular verb, right? We dropped our endings, we added the new ones on. Remember, in the present tense, we just have a ton of irregular yos, where like the rest of the verb is normal, that irregular yo just gets changed. So that's another one of them. Bueno? All right, so technically he sees in the present tense on the chart would be what? What's he sees, Base? They. All right, then we see veo in the preterite tense, which is he or she saw. Notice there are no accents. Why? It's an irregular, and irregular preterites don't get accents. V is going to be our irregular stem. Okay, so we know in the preterite, when we have irregulars, that irregular stem is going to repeat itself throughout the chart, right? And so once we write out our chart, ver in the preterite tense, are we going to have any accents on this? Why not? Oh, gracias. So I saw is vi. What do you think you saw is? Viste. He or she saw? Vio. How about we saw? Vimos. And they saw? Vieron. Again, no accents anywhere because it's an irregular. And that V is our irregular stem. Questions on that one? Bueno, I want you to okay, I know what I want you to do. I want you to go find a partner. We're going to do a brain break quick. Go find a partner. Who's by you, or you can go by someone else in the room. Bueno, go stand up and stand by them. Face each other. Stand up and face each other.
Yeah, so or we can turn our chairs.
Stand up and face each other. Do you have an even number? More or less? Okay, wait, no, that's fine. All right, now I want you to, in my group of three, you're going to pick, like, Kara, you're going to, like, observe Addie. You're going to observe Emily, and then Emily will observe Kara. Okay, I want you to check your partner out. Okay, I want you to observe, and I want you to try to remember every single thing about them right now. Okay, pay attention to their appearance. What do they look like? Their clothes, all that kind of stuff. 15 more seconds just to observe them. Really commit it to memory. Okay, now I want you to turn your back to them so you can no longer see them. And you are going to change 3 things about your appearance in this moment, okay? Because your partner is going to have to guess what 3 things did you change. So change 3 things about your appearance.
Oh, like 3 quick actions?
Yeah. Like physically change your appearance in some way, shape, or form. 3 things. Remember, you want them to be kind of sneaky, so it's a little hard to guess.
So you're not being sneaky. I'm sorry.
10 more seconds to change your appearance. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, turn around and tell your partner what 3 things are different.
Your shoes are on my bushy. Your mask is inside out. Your socks are different. Did we tell them they are?
Yeah.
You're missing the shoe. Your shirt's up like this.
I don't pull up my shirt.
Oh.
I was thinking that, but you're not picking on it.
I was gonna.
So I took my shoes off. I made the sock inside out.
I need to find scoop.
I couldn't see your socks. That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, she just walk around
Just let your socks. Yes.
with my shirt. I think.
I'll do this too, and then with this up here like this.
That's not what I probably got for one.
Oh.
Once you found them all, then sit down.
I had no idea. No, I need to choose out because this your blue is on your left.
We still have 4 more charts to go, so if you need to grab a piece of paper, you should do that now. Just a heads up.
I didn't even realize Mrs. Miller.
See.
So you know how when we do like he apologized to her, it's like lay this.
Mm-hmm.
So why do we put say disculpa?
So that one is technically a reflexive verb. I don't want to go into the reasoning as to why it's a reflexive verb because I think that's a little over your heads right now. So I'm just going to leave it at it's a reflexive verb. So that's why it's a say and not a lay. Because really, if you look at this, right, say disculpo, the actual meaning is just she apologized. And then the 2 con Emily, right? So we'd fill in with the name there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Bueno? Okay. Now, if Emily, if you don't get this, this is okay, clase, bueno. But if you did want to insert that, you could, like if you wanted to use a pronoun instead of your name, right? You could say, se le disculpo.
Okay.
So you can use 2 pronouns if you need to. There's just a certain order we have to go in.
Okay.
Bueno? Okay, entonces, let's go to he conquered. He conquered. Todos repiten venció. Venció. Bueno, now when we look at this, look at the ending and tell me, is this going to be from the AR or the ER-IR chart? ER-IR, bueno, because we have this EO ending. So to conquer is vencer. Vencer means to conquer. Technically, you probably actually know the cognate for to conquer because there is another word that we know. You probably learned it as a conquistador, bueno, or a conquistador in your history class where we don't say it with an accent. What's a conquistador?
A Spanish explorer.
Yeah, Spanish explorer, because what did they do? They came to the New World and they conquered it. Bueno, that's why they all are called conquistadors. Sí, conquistadores. So that conquistar is actually your cognate, but vencer, I would say, is probably a little bit more commonly used in the language rather than conquistar. Bueno, so vencer means to conquer. Now, this can be used as like you conquer a place. This could also be used as like you conquer your fears. Bueno, something like that. So you can use it in either way. Now, when you look at that guy to this one, is it an irregular verb? No, this is not an irregular verb. Bueno, so this is a completely regular verb. Present tense, how would you say he or she conquers? Vence. All right, we are going to do a chart over that. We're almost there, I promise. So vencer in the present tense. It is a regular verb, but let's start with the yo form. How would you say I conquer? Okay, you said it right, but don't write this down yet. If this is really weird with me right here. If I write it like this, how do you say that word? Venco. That's a problem, right? You said it was what? Venso, and that's right. So we're going to have to make a spell change, okay? Because again, typically when we see spell changes, it's to do something with pronunciation, bueno? And so we're going to change the C to a Z, venso. Because the Z in Spanish makes this sound. It doesn't go zzz like it does in English. Okay? So venso. But we're not going to run into that same problem anywhere else in the chart. Okay, it's just when that C is followed by the O that it's a K. So we don't have to make that spell change anywhere else. So how will you say you conquer? Vences. He or she conquers? Good. Vence. We conquer? Good. And how about they conquer? Vencen. So other than this spell change that we have in the yo form, it's a completely irregular verb. There's nothing wonky about it. That same thing is true about the preterite form. It's a completely regular verb. There's nothing funky about it. But no? So draw another chart. I know, we're almost there. 3 more. So vencer in the preterite tense, again, it's a regular verb. With your partner, I want you to fill out that T chart. Use the backboard to help you.
Did it go down back? No. What is this like? What is this like?
Then it would just be the same
All right, what's I conquered? Venci. Accent over the I. How about you conquered? Good. Any accents in that one?
No.
Nope. He or she conquered? Vencio. Accent over the O. How about we conquered? Vencimos. Bueno, yeah, I spelled that right. Because in the preterite tense, it's just emos. There's no emos option. Okay. And then they conquered is good. Vencieron. Questions on that guy? No? Alrighty. One more. We made it to the last one. He did or he made. Todos repiten hizo. That comes from what verb? Hacer, which means to do or to make. Which you learned that guy last year. See? How do you say he does or he makes? Hace. Is that chart a regular verb in the present tense? Yes, except for what? The yo. Bueno. So on the back of your paper, I'm gonna spin my computer, I guess. Draw a T-chart. 2 more, class A. I promise that's it. All right, hacer in the present tense is almost a regular verb minus that yo form. Again, irregular yos are just a thing in the present tense. Even though it's annoying, they're there. So how do you say I do or I make? No. Hago.
Oh,
Okay, this is a go verb. Remember, we just see some goes, like in vango and tango, which I erased the chart. Bueno, but those are some go verbs otherwise. Digo is another one I say. How about you make? What was it? Haces. He or she makes. We make. And they make. Hacen. And remember that H is silent. I don't actually hear it in our pronunciation, right, Thomas? Yeah, bueno. Okay, then final chart. We made it. Bueno, one more chart. Hacer in the preterite tense is another irregular verb. See? I know it hurts your brain now, but it will help you in a couple units. Bueno, you'll already know them all, so it will help you, I promise. Future, you will thank me. All right, so I did or I made. Class A, the irregular stem for hacer is is. H-I-C, is. So what would be, again, using, where are you? Let's use this guy up here. Okay. How would you say I did or I made? Hice. How about you did or you made? Hiciste. How about he or she did or made? Hizo. So class A, why on your chart is it spelled with the Z? Because what does it fix? If we wrote it like it normally was, it would be like this. Well, how would you say that? Eco. And that's not what we want because our original sound was a S. So we're going to make the spell change to a Z because that allows us to maintain that. Bueno, but we don't have that problem anywhere else in the chart. How about we did or we made? Hicimos. And they did or they made? Hicieron. Why are there no accents in this chart? It's an irregular preterites don't get accents. Bueno, again though, we are seeing more or less that stem all throughout it. See, class A? Is your brain okay? Sí, levántense. The actions for this are super easy. Bueno, I think they're super easy. They don't actually require much. Okay, so he came, vino. We're all gonna go. You can like decide how you motion. Like come here. I go like this. Some people are like this. I don't really care how you motion, but it's like the come here, right? Like, and you're like staring someone down, and it's like like teacher vision. Bueno, so show me vino, class A. Vino. Good. Vio is he saw. We're just gonna go like this. Vio. Show me vino. Vio. Venció is he or she conquered, and we're gonna like put a flag. Well, like, no, what do? We stand like this, and then we put a flag in the ground because this is how I imagine people conquering places. I don't know why, but it's what I see. So show me vino.
Oh wait.
Ooh, vino. Vio. Venció. Bueno. And then hizo, he did or he made. We're gonna make cookies. Bueno. So if you imagine like stirring, you could stir. I imagine like doing like the ball thing, like rolling them in my hands. Yeah. Or you could, I don't know, scoop them out and put them on the pan. Whatever image comes to you when you're making cookies, that's what you do. So show me hizo. Otra vez, show me vino. Vio. Venció. Hizo. Vio. Vino. Hizo. Careful. Hizo. Venció. This one's tricky because you have to make sure you're paying attention, right? Because they all ish sound the same. Vio. Hizo. Vino. Venció. Vio. Hizo. Se disculpó. Todo el mundo. Vio. Dijo. Vino. Bueno, Saved by the Bell. Hasta mañana, clase. Ten un buen día. Again, don't forget vocab quizzes Friday. There is a set for 1A through C on Quizlet. Just make sure you star the ones that you actually want to study.
Is that one right in the
Yes. Yep.
Welcome to Papa.
Yeah.